I think he can't get confirmed for two reasons. He doesn't have the rapport with his colleagues in the House. Senators aren't very fond of the former congressman. And also, the allegations are indeed troubling, Jake. I've spoken with a number of my friends who work for senators, work for various committees on the Republican side, and they've all made clear to me that a lot of the Republican senators are concerned about those allegations, which is why you saw a number of senators slowly coming out saying, hey, I want to see the ethics report in order for me to make a decision on whether or not I would support the former congressman's nomination.
Yeah,
so I think that's
turn up, right?
absolutely. So I think that's why we've seen this sort of fall the way it has. The president-elect has an opportunity to select someone else. I think the premise of his argument for wanting to change DOJ could be executed by someone who has institutional knowledge of the place, someone who knows where to start, what departments rather within the agency you could potentially downsize, or what powers you may want to limit. And I would imagine his staff is probably going to advise him to do that.
Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues this cycle.
What's up, guys? I just want to give an update on the whole Matt Gaetz situation. As you probably already know from the intro, Matt Gaetz has withdrawn himself from nomination, but within the same day, Pam Bondi was named the new nominee for Attorney General, and as you saw from the second intro, MSNBC, liberals, they're freaking out over this pick because they're like, oh my gosh, she's actually experienced. She'll actually know what she's doing on day one. Right. And many people are praising the pick. I think I've seen many conservatives praising the pick. And I like the pick based on what I've seen so far. You replace a Florida man with a Florida woman. I don't know what's going on in Florida. Like damn near half of Trump's like cabinet picks are from Florida. Right. My state being represented, guys. I don't know. Maybe it's something in the water. Who knows? But I digress. I wanted to talk a little bit about Matt Gaetz's withdrawal, and then we'll switch over to how people are feeling about Pam Bondi. So Matt Gaetz seemed like he didn't have the support of 4 Republican senators, which is John Kirsten, Susan Collins, Linda Markuski, and Mitch McConnell. I'm tired of these rhinos running everything. Time to replace them all. And this is something that a lot of people are feeling frustrated about, that Donald Trump didn't get the picks that he wanted. Well, at least our consolation prize is that MSNBC was melting down over it. She's dangerous and an effective pick, right? And they can't complain about it now because they already got Trump to change one time. So Trump has the leverage here. Like, he didn't waste any political capital, because that's one reason why a lot of people felt Matt Gaetz was going to be a tough sell, right? Smart pick. Sure, Michael, as you saw from the intro, he wanted someone, he likes Donald Trump's pick for Pam Bondi. But one thing that I wanted to point out is that many people felt like Donald Trump shouldn't waste his political capital trying to push Matt Gaetz through. Now, Matt Gaetz can come in maybe as another through another process. Maybe he'll do something else. Who knows? But it seems like Donald Trump still wants to keep Matt Gaetz close. But I want to give this person a shout out, because George here, he has something that I was always thinking, that a lot of the times when people say that Trump does 4D chess, it's not really 4D chess. What Trump is doing is, when he faces adversity, he uses it to his advantage. Okay, you don't like this pick? Who can I pick that, now that you already wasted your capital saying you didn't want Gaetz, who else can I pick that could actually do what I need to do and maybe even be better than the one I first nominated? Okay, I'm going to pick Pam Bondi. Even though, she's been part of my legal team. I know her. She defended me. She's from Polk County. If you know Polk County is some of the most conservative county in Florida. It's the one with the famous sheriff. He likes to say, we're going to lock you up. But I digress. So I can't believe that I have to post this, but I just want everyone to remember that this is not an act of 4G test, that Trump switched out his attorney general nominee. We are here because uniparty Republicans, in collusion with the media, committed a coup against his pick. Pam Bondi will do the job, but we mustn't forgive the Rhino Senate for what they did. We mustn't forget this when they are coming and asking for re-election. I'm not a fan of people making it seem like this was all part of some plan. No, it was not. We got screwed by the state Senate establishment, and we have to recognize that and use it as fuel to remove them from office. Now, generally, I agree, but also, hey, Trump used what he got. Okay, you want this one? All right, I'm gonna pick someone who's even more of a problem. Because end of the day, if she was picked first, they would have made some issue about her too, which they're trying to do now. Hey, the AG shouldn't be someone that's so close to Trump. The AG is supposed to be impartial, right? Like all this, because one thing the media seems to have a problem with, they hate the fact that Trump is only picking people that is loyal to him. And that's really getting on their nerves, as you can see, because they know they can't really create any friction. They can't do what they did in 2016, create friction, expect some incohesion going on the train, right? They wanted people to turn against them because, end of the day, what they're trying to do here, and one way they try to sabotage the 2024 election, not the election, but his cabinet pick, is do what they did to Matt Gaetz. Create this media storm. But if Trump's picking a bunch of people who don't care what the media has to say, they effectively lose influence and power in his administration. And I think this is the angle that Trump is going with. But without further ado, I'll show you a clip of some of the reactions to the pick. You already saw one from MSNBC. Here's Scott Jennings seemingly throwing praise at her. Let's take a look.
Is this just a confirmation that would essentially sail through, Scott, or not?
Well, I don't think you could consider anybody, just they're going to sail without any kind of real process. She's going to have to go through a process like everybody else. But I can tell you, this is a massive upgrade. I've talked to a couple people up on the Hill already. There's a sigh of relief that now we have somebody here, two-term AG, strong record on drug enforcement and opioid issues, a total hawk on immigration, politically supportive of Trump, obviously. I don't know a Republican in the country who doesn't love Pam Bondi. So you were starting with Gaetz, a nominee who was underwater significantly to start and was going to always be hard to get to the surface. Mm-hmm. With Bondi, I do think you're starting above water, and as long as she performs in her hearings, and look, this is somebody who's been through 2 elections in a really big state, and so a lot of public vetting of her has gone on already. So I think this is a great move by Trump to be pragmatic and tell Gaetz to get out, and a really good move to go with Bondi. This is not a shaky limb. This is a sturdy branch he's going with for AG here.
So we're going to talk about Pam Bondi now. As you know, I already gave a hint about it, but she's been working at BE as a lawyer for 20 years. She's been AG of Florida for about 8 years, if I remember correctly. She's very experienced. She knows how the government works when it comes to working in that capacity, just be at a higher scale, obviously. And this is why MSNBC is scared of her, right? And she's just as bad as loyal to Donald Trump. She's part of Donald Trump's legal team. I think many people may have seen her when Mark Cuban did this whole thing about, no strong or smart women are around Donald Trump. And she was on a rally. I remember seeing that rally. I forgot where. But yeah, she was one of the women that came out giving Mark Cuban that work. So I'm going to play some clips here so you guys get a better idea of how she is, just the same way I did with Matt Gaetz. So I'll do it with her as well. So let's see what NBC's further reaction to her being picked.
Any good reality TV star, you probably remember Pam Bondi best from her many, many, many appearances on television, and specifically Fox News television. Miss Bondi even filled in as a guest host on Fox 3 times while she was still the sitting Attorney General of Florida. And she spent plenty of time on the network since she left office.
Murderers, rapists from Venezuelan prisoners coming straight into our country. They are coming to a town near you. It should scare and terrify everyone in this country. This is just one big press conference trying to smear Donald Trump, trying to hurt Donald Trump.
We do have evidence of cheating, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but we are still on the ground in Pennsylvania. I'm here right now, and we are not going anywhere until they declare.
So obviously you can see she was part of Trump's campaign. This is 2020, Trump's 2020 campaign advisor. So you can see she's very close to Trump. So Trump is still, so we already know Trump's criteria. Criteria number 1 is you have to be loyal to him, because he ain't gonna give you any kind of power and you're like associated with Mitch McConnell. That's where he messed up in 2016. Like, other people had influence and pull over his cabinet picks and they end up doing things against his own agenda. Like, make it make sense. You get nominated by a guy, and then the guy tells you, hey, I need you to do this, and you say, no, we don't. No, I don't need to do nothing. Huh? I'm the president. I'm the one who nominated you. I'm the one who picked you here. You're supposed to go along with my agenda. No. I'm going with the neocon agenda. And this is what many people are feeling like, yo, we need term limits. Because Mitch McConnell, we already pointed out the 4 Republicans that didn't want to give their vote to Matt Gaetz no matter what. These guys are like in safe red states. One guy, Mitch McConnell, is going to retire soon, so he don't care. He don't care about no political backlash from us. And this is how politics is being played. These 4 guys are taking the fall because they can't be. I think they're not up for re-election for at least another 2 years, so they ain't going to get an immediate accountability, right? And even if they did, they're in pretty much safe districts where it's going to be hard to primary them. But I think we should still make the effort anyway. But as you can see, from Florida, same state as Matt Gaetz, I think we'll be fine with this pick, right? We would have loved to have Matt Gaetz. Many people are more familiar with Matt Gaetz, but she's not as bad. She's not bad. Many people say she's better on the execution piece of it, right? But we'll see how it all pans out. We'll see how the media reacts to it. Who knows? They may still accuse Pam Bondi of sexual assault or make some sexual allegations against her. Who knows with the mainstream media? But this is the kind of the playbook that you're seeing. And I'm sorry I'm going on this rant, but it's important to really point this out because I pointed this out in my Matt Gaetz video that if you're a man, this is going to be if you're a man of any consequence, this is the #1 attack line that media and these liberal propagandists love to attack you on. Because like I said, liberalism, its primary attack is character assassination. The wrap-up smear. I already pointed it out. Nancy Pelosi articulated it perfectly. She explained to us perfectly what they do with wrap-up smears. They say something, put a bunch of information out there, media reports on it, which gives it some form of legitimacy, and then you talk about and you use that to back you up. Oh, it was reported in the New York Times. We see how the game is played. RFK, at the time of me making this video, there's already allegations coming out against him about him having raped his nanny. Here we go. Doug Emhoff, quiet, nothing. You don't hear zip, zilch, nada, nothing. Biden, nothing. Oh, but when it's their enemy, they will report on any kind of allegations. Pete Hegseth is the next one on the chopping block. You already see they're coming out against him now, calling him a white supremacist, talking about sexual allegations. Oh, did you ever? I was cleared of all charges in Capitol Hill. You see the partisanship of the mainstream media, and they wonder why Americans don't trust them. You get more honest news online than you will get from the TV, and that's a fact. Let's continue.
Declare that we won Pennsylvania.
That last clip you saw there was from just after the 2020 election when Pam Bondi was promoting the big lie that Trump had won the election. Bondi was, again, part of Trump's legal team that tried and failed to prove Trump's election conspiracies in court, filing multiple lawsuits on Trump's behalf in battleground states. And she has been one of his most loyal foot soldiers ever since then. She even stood by Trump's side during his Manhattan criminal trials and defended him outside the courthouse.
Leave it to MSNBC to make a good, MSNBC, you don't need to sell me on her already. I like her already. This is what Trump needs. I would say that for any president. If a president wants someone that's next to him loyal, that's going to push their agenda, so be it.
Listen, all the rights here, I'm a prosecutor, former prosecutor. Yeah, all the rights here go to the defendant because it's his liberty at stake, and that has not been happening in this courtroom. This case should have never, ever been brought.
All of that is why Donald Trump chose Pam Bondi to be his pick for Attorney General. She will be every bit the loyalist that Matt Gaetz would have been, just with a little more legal experience and a little less baggage.
I mean, y'all did. Y'all wanted Matt Gaetz gone, right? What they always say, careful what you ask for. You guys going all this. No one's gonna look at the end of this whole little thing that the media is doing. No one's gonna believe people who come out with allegations against powerful men anymore because of the fact that the media has weaponized these allegations to the nth degree, and we all know this is politically motivated. This is all political maneuvering. Here's one more clip, and then I'll end off the video with my final thoughts.
What questions would you ask the FEMA administrator?
Well, I think they need to find out if it's systemic, and it sounds like it is. Right now, there's one woman who, of course, has been fired and saying that she was a scapegoat, and it goes much higher than that. So I think that's very important to find out. And also, they're going to be able to obtain their emails, their text messages, and I firmly believe all this will be uncovered. But if it's systemic throughout FEMA, which I believe it probably is, then they're going to have a tremendous problem on their hands, especially when Kristi Noem takes office very soon and runs that organization. Because these aren't Democrats, these aren't Republicans, these are Americans who are having their civil rights violated because they chose to have a Donald Trump sign in their front yard.
So at the end of the day, you are confident.
Yeah, because imagine if these FEMA people, and this is the funny part, right? I like her already. Like, based on, her background, MSNBC did a great job pitching her to me. I agree wholeheartedly with everything that MSNBC said, and I think she's a great fit for Donald Trump. And see how she went with FEMA. She's outlining. I made the same argument too. I was like, if there was a sign that was like, Black Lives Matter sign outside, and these people were highly aggressive to these people, would you have treated them the same way you would have treated an aggressive Donald Trump supporter? And that's the question, because we know a lot of the political leanings of a lot of people who work for the government. Many people who work for the government happen to be Democrat liberals. All you have to do is look at the donations from these institutions. So if a Trump supporter was aggressive to you, would you be like, if you see a Trump sign, ignore? Don't go to their house. Don't leave. Just skip over them, because we notice a trend. But if a Black Lives Matter person who had a Black Lives Matter sign was acting aggressive to you, would you have done the same thing? And many people, such as myself, don't believe that would be the case. We think we'd be like, that's just a one-off. We're going to go to the next Black Lives Matter house. But Donald Trump support, this is what I'm talking about. Democrats, liberals, progressives, y'all hold Republicans conservatives to a higher standard than you hold yourselves and your own side. And this is why y'all never criticize your own side. This is why you never look at your own side. And then y'all do F-ups like this, and people in the middle be like, nah, that's discrimination.
Confident that FEMA leadership will ultimately be held accountable and change will come to that agency if wrongdoing is found.
Absolutely, and after January 20th, major change is going to come.
Understood.
Major change is going to come. I like the sound of that. So my final thoughts is that Pam Bondi, Florida, AG, 8 years she's been doing it, major state. I'm familiar with her. I think she worked as a district attorney in Polk County, if I remember correctly. I might be getting her history wrong. 20 years been a lawyer. Right, been a part of Trump's legal team for a long time. As you saw her in action in the previous clips, seems like a solid pick. I think she's great. I feel like as an ideologically, the American First movement being represented by Matt Gaetz, a younger generation. I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted Matt Gaetz to be AG. Well, she's about 6 years old. Oops, I said her age. Apparently women are very touchy about that. So, she's more experienced, obviously, but, I was looking forward to having, a young generation running the cabinet, somewhat young, like, Matt Gaetz, like 40, 45, 44 years old. So I was looking forward to that, I guess. But, hey, I'll take it. Seems like a solid pick. Anything that makes the left freak out over a pick shows me that's a good sign that Donald Trump made the right choice. Let me know your thoughts about Pam Bondi. Are you disappointed with Matt Gaetz' withdrawal? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about this situation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.